2004, My Chemical Romance dropped an album that didn't just define a generation, but buried in these emo anthems as a dark love story. If you loved MCR as much as I did, then this album will have been a massive part of your life at some point, and my appreciation for it only grew once I learned this story. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge takes us on a journey through love, death, and a nasty deal with the devil himself. This is the twisted tale behind it. Usually I'd start by saying we enter this album, but we actually don't. We start on the previous album, I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love, with the closing track, Demolition Lovers. The characters we'll be following throughout this are the Demolition Lovers, and they remain nameless throughout, so we will just call them the man and woman to keep it simple. Demolition Lovers opens on a single guitar before Gerard begins our story lyrically. Hand in mine into your icy blues, and then I'd say to you, we could take to the highway. With this trunk of ammunition too, I'd end my days with you in a hail of bullets. We begin on a very romantic turn, hand in hand looking into one another's eyes. The man is telling the woman that they are ride or die, and he is willing to take a bullet for this woman any day, as they plan to run away together. The music builds up a notch as we get the drums accompanying our first iteration of the chorus. The chorus is never identical, but has a few characteristics that are making it easy to spot. I'm trying to let you know just how much you mean to me, and after all these things we put each other through, and the relationship clearly isn't always the best, but the man is trying to prove to the woman just how much he loves her, which is something to get used to both throughout this song and the following album. The and at the end of the chorus leads us into the next verse. I would drive unto the end with you. A liquor store or two keeps the gas tank full, and I feel like there's nothing left to do but to prove myself to you, and we'll keep it running. Once again, the man is reiterating he would do anything to get away with this woman, suggesting that if they rob a few liquor stores, they would have enough money to get by. This may not matter for long though, as the law has caught up with them. The only thing the man feels like he can do is keep running from the law with the woman in an attempt to prove his love for her. This leads us back into the chorus where we have the man getting desperate, which we hear with the music building once more and Gerard's Way's voice starting to sound a little more desperate. But this time, I mean it. I'll let you know just how much you mean to me, and as snow falls on desert sky until the end of everything. Once again, the man is emphasising how much he loves this woman, through changes of season and the impossible, right through until death do them part. The fact that he's mentioning until the end of everything though, may be the realisation that it's closer than our lovers may want. I'm trying to let you know just how much you mean. As days fade and nights grow and we grow cold, the man really needs the woman to understand how much he is trying here, through day and night, but also even in death, as they travel towards eternal darkness and permanent cold. This leads us into a pre-chorus which is short and sweet, but packs a punch nonetheless. Until the end, until this pool of blood, until this, I mean this, until the end of. Here, we have a little bit of foreshadowing combined with another desperate attempt to emphasise the extent the man means that he loves this woman to death. This takes us back to the chorus once again, which is almost lyrically the same as the last chorus, but in a different order and delivered much more desperately once again. This time, the chorus starts with I'm trying to let you know how much you mean, as days fade and nights grow and we grow cold, which is then followed up with the half that came first previously, but with a little twist. But this time, I mean it. I'll let you know just how much you mean to me, as snow falls on desert sky until the end of every. Just when you thought it was going to be exactly the same, the final word is cut short and the heavy music cuts with it. This is very intentional, but also open to interpretation. Some see this as a man dying, and others the man passing out and awakening to the shock of seeing the woman dead next to him. For me, this is the death of our male protagonist, being shot in the gunfight and being critically wounded, hence everything being cut short. He's not quite dead yet though, just on his way there. The music comes back in very similar to how the song started, with a single acoustic guitar being followed up with the drum coming in as we get the next lyrics. All we are is bullets. I mean this. This is repeated 4 times to really hammer it home, and links back to how he would hurt her in their relationship. The man never did it intentionally, but hurting others, intentionally or not, is part of human nature. This leads us into an incredible instrumental breakdown, to not only reflect on the lyrics we have heard, but also to feel the chaotic nature of the scene that we're watching unfold, as lead rains will pass on through our phantoms forever, forever. Like scarecrows, feel this flame, we're burning forever and ever. Lead rain is another way for saying a lot of gunfire, which we know that our demolition lovers are under, but the man is still adamant that even in death their love shall ring true. As for the scarecrow line, if you were to light a scarecrow on fire, it would burn bright due to the highly flammable hay that they are made of. This is a man saying that their bright flame of love shall burn eternally, in life or death. Know how much I want to show you, you're the only one. Like a bed of roses, there's a dozen reasons in this gun. As they go down together, this feels as though the man is looking into the woman's eyes and saying this directly to her. He would rather die with her than live on without her. Roses typically come in a bouquet of 12, so the man is saying that there's a whole bunch of reasons they ended up in the situation they are in now, while signifying laying on a bed of roses at your funeral. Our lovers are drifting closer towards their demise as we head into the outro to this anthem, and as we're falling down and in this pool of blood, and as we're touching hands and as we're falling down, and in this pool of blood and as we're falling down. I'll see your eyes in this pool of blood, I'll meet your eyes, I mean this forever. Here is the moment that we have been building up to for the entire song. Our lovers are dying together, or do they? We've seen this coming the entire time with them bringing ammo and foreshadowing the pool of blood, but even as he faces death, his final words reaffirm one final time. He means forever. I know there's been a lot of emphasis on how much the man loves this woman and that it's forever, but that is very intentional, as it forms a platform for 3 cheers to build upon. Now that we have met our lovers, we can finally get into the main album, so strap in as we are going on quite the adventure. Here we are at the beginning of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Well, kind of. The opening track of the album is actually Helena, but that isn't actually a part of our story. Helena is a track dedicated to Gerard and Mikey Way's late grandmother, who sadly passed away while they were touring for their previous album. Given it doesn't apply to this album's story, I'm gonna skip over it here and get right into it with Give 'Em Hell Kid. This track is relentlessly fast, to the extent that right before it all kicks in, Gerard Way opens the lyrics with "Oh baby, here comes the sun," before he starts rattling the lyrics off immediately afterwards. Took a train out of New Orleans and they shot me full of ephedrine. This is how they like to do it in the murder scene. Can we settle up the score? So, a little context. Throughout this album, we follow the man as he has made a deal with the devil. The deal is that he will be reunited with his lover if he delivers the souls of 1,000 evil men to the devil. This album will be his journey on that mission. The man has returned to Earth. He hops on a train, leaving his hometown behind. It's time for his mission to begin. He dopes up on drugs to stay awake and focused before beginning his killing spree. A little fun fact here is ephedrine was actually banned in America a couple of months before this album was released. The rest of this verse was just introducing his mission to us and questioning if he will be able to complete it or not. This gets us straight into the chorus where we hear how the man is feeling. If you were here, I'd never have a fear. So go on, live your life. But I miss you more than I did yesterday. We're right back at our man missing his lover again. He is scared going on this mission with his lover, but he still hopes she is happy wherever she is. We now switch over to the woman's perspective as we hear how she is dealing with things recently. Well, I'm a total wreck and almost every day, like the firing squad or the mess you made. Well, don't I look pretty walking down the street in the best damn dress I own. The woman in our story is really missing the man here. She's having flashbacks to the shootout. The second half of this verse is the woman missing the man. I'm very aware there's an open debate as to the woman's fate in the shootout, but for me, she's alive for now, which is why he has to go on the mission to fulfill his deal with the devil. This leads us back into the chorus, which starts off the same, as a few extra lines added to it. We start with, if you were here, I'd never have a fear. So go on, live your life, but I miss you more than I did yesterday. Which shows she feels the same way as the man missing him, but hoping he's doing well too. She then goes on to say, you're so far away, so come on, show me how, because I mean this more than words could ever say. The woman wants some answers about where her lover is, looking for any kind of signs she can get, but there are no signs coming her way. He's gone. She still has no idea where her lover is or what he is up to. Some might say we are made from the sharpest things you say. We are young and we don't care. Your dreams and your hopeless hair. We never wanted it to be this way for all our lives. Do you care at all? The woman is reflecting on the difficulties they had once again, particularly about how those situations shaped who she went on to be. The line about them not caring is the lovers justifying their actions, particularly those that led to the shootout. Now, because of their actions, the man has some real issues to worry about. Nothing superficial like how his hair is sitting. Instead of being able to spend his life loving the woman, the man now has to live as a murderer, hoping desperately to find his way back to his lover at the end of it all. At the end of the verse though, he's questioning if she will even care, given she doesn't actually know of this deal that he has made with the devil. This means she is blissfully unaware of what he signed up to, and the atrocities that he is willing to commit for her. This takes us right back into the extended version of the chorus we saw previously, before we get to a very interesting outro that sets the scene for the next few songs. What did you call me? Well, there's no way I'm kissing that guy. Well, come on. Yeah. Here we learn the man is potentially questioning his sexuality. At this stage, he seems to be in denial, but as we'll come to find out, maybe that's not quite as true as it seems. Next up, we have To the End, which is actually based off a short story by William Faulkner titled A Rose for Emily. In this story, Emily discovers that her lover was about to leave her for a man. Emily couldn't stand the thought of this after struggling with her father's death, so instead she decided to poison him. She kept his body in her mansion for years as he decomposed, even sleeping next to him as she could not cope with the loneliness. Let's dive into our song and see how it links into the story. We enter on a single electric guitar with the lyrics coming in immediately on top of it. He calls the mansion not a house but a tomb. He's always choking from the stench and the fume. Those lines will probably sound familiar given how I just described A Rose for Emily. The groom is dead, so cannot enjoy the mansion for what it actually is, rather only being able to appreciate it as a tomb. As for the second line, dead bodies are known to have an incredibly strong yet disgusting scent. Given how long the body has been dead for and the stage of decomposition it will be at, the smell coming off of it would be rancid. The wedding party all collapsed in the room, so send my resignation to the bride and the groom. Here is where we clearly tie back into our story, as we have the man attending a wedding to kill some of the attendees for his mission. This elevator only goes up to 10. He's not around, he's always looking at men. The elevator line is a very interesting one, as for me, this line basically denies the existence of a heaven. The 10 levels referenced are Earth and then the 9 circles of hell, which is only backed up by the following line. Since homosexuality is a sin, you would go to hell for that. And here we are with the man questioning his sexuality, as he sees all the men while he hunts for the evil ones. This could be especially boosted by the fact he's at a wedding where all the men would be dressed up and looking the best. Down by the pool, he doesn't have many friends, as they are face down and bloated. Snap a shot with a lens. The man in our story doesn't have any friends, since he just stops by places for work and kills most of the men that he meets. He's making sure to evidence everything so he gets his end of the bargain once he completes his mission for the devil. If you marry me, would you bury me? Would you carry me to the end? This pre-chorus is a rather morbid take on wedding vows, asking if when he dies she would bury him. He wants his lover to be with him forever as soon as he can reunite them. This takes us into the chorus where we return to referencing A Rose for Emily once again. Say goodbye to the vows you take. Say goodbye to the life you make. And say goodbye to the hearts you break and all the cyanide you drank. In A Rose for Emily, her lover Homer broke her heart by being in love with a man instead of her. Emily is telling him to wave goodbye to everything he knows as she's about to kill him. These lyrics are written as if Emily is talking directly to Homer, but they also apply to our Demolition Lovers. We know the man has just been at a wedding killing, and he has destroyed the lives of those he left alive by killing people close to them. The cyanide line at the end is another reference to Rose for Emily, where Emily poisoned Homer, albeit with arsenic rather than cyanide, but the impact would be exactly the same. She keeps a picture of the body she lends, got nasty blisters from the money she spends. She's got a life of her own and it shows by the bends. she drives at 90 past the Barbies and Kens. Emily keeps Homer's body in her mansion and has a photograph of him lying next to the body. Emily was in the relationship in the first place for Homer's money, so had spent a lot of it on the wedding, but when Homer calls it off, she flips out and buys arsenic to kill him. Arsenic is actually a blister agent, so if Emily got any on her in the process of poisoning him, there's a solid chance her hands would have blistered. They don't even really interact with each other unless they had to, but Emily had no hesitation in flashing his cash on a nice car. She would speed in this luxury car through the well-off neighbourhoods with all the superficially perfect people to get some sense of fulfillment. If you say never too late, I'll forget all the diamonds you ate. Lost in a coma and covered in cake, increase the medication, share the vows at the wake. This is Emily saying that if Homer would have changed his mind, she would have forgiven him and taken him back in a heartbeat, but we all know that doesn't happen. The cake line could be very literal, as Homer was drugged and now lies unconscious in a wedding cake, but could also have a different meaning in the Demolition Lovers. Given the man went on a killing spree at a wedding, he could have shot at a cake and it went everywhere, or even had it thrown at him to try to stop him. He was so doped up in his medication he was almost in a trance, but he still needed more afterwards as he started to come down. The man's leaving note is brutal, telling the bride to save her vows for the wake, since it's the only time she will get to read them. As for that line related to a rose for Emily, that's her putting on a show as to how much she loved Homer, when in reality it was her who killed him. This leads us back into the same pre-chorus once again, before MCR take us into an extended version of the chorus. They start with the same as last time, with say goodbye to the vows you take, say goodbye to the life you make, and say goodbye to the hearts you break and all the cyanide you drank. However, instead of ending it here, it continues on with and say goodbye to the last parade and walk away from the choice you made, and say goodnight to the hearts you break and all the cyanide you drank. The last parade in your life is your funeral, but this could definitely be seen as a little reference forward to the next album. Both Emily and our male protagonists are having to walk away from the people they kill, and with it, the decisions they have made in life to end up having killed people. After this, the band takes us into a high energy instrumental to let the events of this song sit with us while maintaining the momentum that the song has, before they take us back into the extended version of the chorus once again. This song has a lot of time with characters reflecting on their decisions here, which is always an interesting moment in stories. This leads us into the outro of the song, where we get our last moments of reflection, to the last parade where parties fade and the choice you made to the end. This is a little foreshadowing to the Black Parade, and Gerard Way's beliefs on what happens when you die. Gerard believes that right before you die, your happy memories flash before your eyes as the Black Parade come to take you away. You reflect on everything you've ever done in your life, every choice you have ever made, your biggest regrets, and the people who made the biggest impact in your life. All in, this is about reflection, which can happen in death or when something major happens in your life, which is happening for both Emily in her story and the Demolition Lovers in ours. Next up, we have You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison. A short and catchy song title that feels right at home with the 2000s emo classic. Let's hop straight into the lyrics. In the middle of a gunfight in the centre of a restaurant, they say come with your arms raised high. Gerard Way sets the scene perfectly here. The man is in the middle of his mission, engaging in a gunfight in a restaurant when they are so rudely interrupted by the police coming in to arrest him for his crimes. Well, they're never gonna get me. Like a bullet through a flock of doves. The man is almost taunting the police here, thinking he's too good to get caught. If you were to shoot into a flock of birds, they would simply fly away. The man believes he can evade the police like the birds avoid the bullet. To wage this war against your faith in me, your life will never be the same. On your mother's eyes, say a prayer. Say a prayer, yeah. This man is fighting a war against time, and how long his lover can maintain the faith that she has in him. This is backed up more when you remember the woman is still unaware of the man's deal with the devil, and is wondering if she's ever going to see him again. If you get arrested, your life will never be the same afterwards. Not only is the experience traumatic, but your record will follow you everywhere you go and impact every single area of your life in more ways than you could ever imagine. This is where the title will finally start to make more sense. The man is arrested and getting to grips with his life in prison as we enter the chorus. Now, but I can't, and I don't know how we're just two men as God has made us. Well, I can't, well, I can. Here is where the man seriously starts questioning his sexuality as he finds himself falling for a fellow prisoner. He's struggling to understand how he can feel so much for someone he's known such a short amount of time, especially given it's a man. Too much, too late, or just not enough of this. Pain in my heart for your dying wish. I'll kiss your lips again. Despite falling for the prisoner, our man still dreams of the woman he loves. contemplating if he will be able to save her or not. Her dying wish would be to see the man again and be reunited with him. He gets a little boost of motivation to keep his promise there as he manifests that he will kiss her again. They all cheat at cards and the checkers are lost. My cellmate's a killer, they make me do push-ups and drag, but nobody cares if you're losing yourself. Am I losing myself? The man is just telling us about how rubbish the conditions are in prison, even down to having a murderer for a cellmate. The man has so much time to himself that he's questioning everything, from his sanity to his sexuality. You also have the fact that he may be losing who he is through the mission of having to kill 1,000 evil men. Plenty of options here, and honestly, with all the time he has to think in prison, he's probably thought of all of them. Will I miss my mom? Will he give me the chair? Or lethal injection or swing from a rope if you dare? And nobody knows all the trouble I've seen. The man is reflecting again, but this time on the fact he might not be able to complete his mission since he's in prison. He's thinking of all the possible ways he could end it all and feeling sorry for himself with how difficult he's finding prison. This leads us back to the chorus again, which for once in this album is exactly the same as the previous one. So we move on to the bridge that comes after. To your room. What they ask of you will make you want to say so long. Well, I don't remember why remember. Trigger warning here for SA. Skip ahead about 30 seconds or so if that impacts you. In prison, SA is rife, and here we have the man going through an experience of that. The man is traumatized from this experience to the extent he can't even remember what happened or who did it. This takes us into a brief interlude by Bert McCracken of The Used, who collaborated on this track. Do you have the keys to the hotel? Cause I'm gonna string this motherfucker on fire. The man is out of prison now and clearly working with somebody to continue his mission of killing. This transitions into an incredible guitar solo before we get to the outro of this song. Life is but a dream for the dead, and will I won't go down by myself, but I'll go down with my friends, yeah. This is an interesting first line, as Gerard seems to be suggesting that in death you can remember your life as if it's a dream. The man is also desperate not to die alone one way or another, preferably with his lover. It does have a second meaning here, which Gerard Way has leaned into massively, and that is a homosexual meaning. I'll let your imaginations finish that one, no pun intended. We're nearly done, but the deepest lyrics are saved till the very end, as Gerard Way repeats now 9 times, which is a cry for help. He feels that, like a lot of prisoners, he has had his voice stripped from him, and he's just desperate to be heard. And that right there is what they do to guys like him in prison. If we were just listening to the album, we would now have had the emo anthem of I'm Not Okay, I Promise. But it doesn't really feed into the story unless you want to say the man is just struggling. In my opinion, the song's not worth diving into for the story of this album, so instead we're going to jump on to the heartbreaker of this album, which is The Ghost of You. We enter this song with another single guitar, and right before the lyrics get introduced, the drums join in. I never said I'd lie and wait forever. If I died, we'd be together now. I can't always just forget her, but she could try. The man's mission is clearly taking much longer than he thought, and it's taking a toll on him. He's considering ending it all in an attempt to be reunited with his lover, but that's not the deal he's made. The man knows he can't move on from his lover, but is concerned that she may just move on and forget him. This leads us right into the chorus, where we have a trigger warning for self-unaliving. So you may want to skip ahead to the next song if that'll be uncomfortable for you. At the end of the world, or the last thing I'll see, you're never coming home, never coming home. Could I? Should I? Despite the man continuing his mission, he's seriously doubting if he'll be able to accomplish it. He's struggling with the possibility that he may never see his lover again, and because of this, he is once again contemplating ending it all, and all the things that you never ever told me, and all the smiles that are ever. If the man never sees his lover again, he's thinking about all the things she never said to him, and how he will potentially never know now. The chorus almost trails off as if it is unfinished, but it perfectly leads into the next verse. Ever get the feeling that you're never all alone, and I remember now at the top of my lungs, in my arms, she dies. She dies. The man feels the presence of his lover with him on his journey, hence the title, The Ghost of You. He is looking back to that gunfight we saw in Demolition Lovers in regret, replaying the moment he believed that his lover passed away in his arms, as he screamed out in anguish before dying himself. This takes us back to the chorus again, but with a little tweak. The first half remains exactly the same, with at the end of the world, or the last thing I'll see. You are never coming home, never coming home. Could I? Should I? However, the final line of the chorus gets completed this time. And all the things that you never ever told me, and all the smiles that are ever gonna haunt me. Like I mentioned before, there's a lot that he will never know, but in death you also never get to see that person smile again out with photos. The smile that would once light up your day now haunts you. Not only did the final line get completed this time, but the chorus actually continues before you even get a second to process what just happened. It goes on with a repetition of never coming home, never coming home. Could I? Should I? At this point, the man is well and truly spiralling. His head is all over the place, but one thing he is continuously coming back to is the fact that he is separated from his lover and contemplating ending it all. And all the wounds that are never gonna scar me, for all the ghosts that are never gonna catch me. The man is almost talking himself into ending it all at this point. He believes only more pain is to come from his loss, and that more in life will just continue to hurt him. The man also realises that everything he's done up until now can't catch up with him if he's dead. It's seeming more and more likely that this will be his ending at this point, which is only reinforced more by the bridge that follows. If I fall down. This is simply a question of what if I just drop dead right now? What if? It's not even a complete sentence, yet we all know exactly what it means. This leads us into a classic My Chemical Romance instrumental to keep the feeling there, but also give you a moment to think on what you've just heard. Before Gerard Way hammers it home by repeating the longer version of the chorus, except the last line is cut short. Did he finally end it all? Has he put himself out of his misery? I guess we find out on the next track. Well, he's not dead yet, but if he continues living life the way he is, that might just catch up with him. The Jetset Life is going to kill this man, but what exactly does that mean? Let's dive into this track, which enters on a haunting synth, followed by drums slowly fading in, and we get our first lyrics. Gaze into her killing jar, I sometimes stare for hours. She even poked a hole so I can breathe. This track is all about addiction, and it's actually a bit of a personal memoir from Gerard, who struggled with both drugs and alcohol before falling ill while on tour in 2004. You could say the Jetset Life nearly killed him. However, back to our story, and we know the man was taking substances from all the way back on Give 'Em Hell Kid. The man feels trapped, like a bug in a killing jar, but with a little hole so he can breathe and not die. This is the feeling of addiction. As he looks at the dependency he has on these substances, it is enough that he can't stop taking them, but not quite enough to kill him just yet. She bought the last line, I'm just the worst kind of guy to argue with what he might find, and for the last night I lie. Could I lie with you? This may seem like the man is cheating on his lover here, but instead he's personifying his addiction as a woman. The man simply cannot resist the drugs when they come calling. When it comes to this, he is weak. There's a bit of a double meaning in line for me, as it could obviously mean a line of drugs, but it could also be the last line he said, which makes a lot of sense for where it goes next. There's also a double meaning in lie in here, as you have to verbally lie to someone and to physically lie next to someone. He pretends he wants to give up drugs, but the reality of the situation is he doesn't at all, but he's content enough with lying to himself that he tries. This leads us into the chorus, where it takes a bit of an interesting twist. Alright, give up, get down. It's just the hardest part of living. Alright, she wants it all to come down with me this time. The man is surrendering to his addiction, either unwilling or unable to overcome the hardest part of it all, taking the first step. His addiction wants to continue to take more and more from him until his life collapses all around him. We also have another double meaning in here, as come down is also a term for the lows you hit as you sober up from drugs. That takes us right back into another verse where we continue to learn more about the man's addiction. I'm lost in the prescription, she's got something else in mind. Check into the Hotel La Muerta. The man is lost in his addiction to the point that he's once again considering ending it all. Hotel Bella Muerte literally translates to Hotel Beautiful Death, so the man's addiction is convincing him to give in to his thoughts of ending it all. It gives the weak flight, it gives the blind sight until the cops come or by last night. And for the last night I lie. Could I lie next to you? The man is talking about the drugs as if they're some kind of saviour, which couldn't be further from the truth. The man has no intention of stopping until he either gets arrested again or until he completes his mission and is reunited with his lover. Once again though, he lies to himself that he's going to stop, repeating the same vicious cycle over and over again. This leads us back into the chorus again, which has the exact same lyrics as the last one, except the whole thing is sang twice over. This leads us into a bridge before we get to the grand finale chorus, chorus. Pull the plug, but I'd like to learn your name. The man tries to convince himself to quit drugs altogether until somebody offers him something he's not tried before and he wants to try it. When holding on, I hope you do the same, oh sugar. He's hoping the drugs continue to have the same effect on him as he continues to take them, and we have another cheeky double meaning with oh sugar. Not only can sugar be used as a term of endearment, but it's also a street name for cocaine. Slip into tragedy, you've spun this chamber dry. The man is accepting his fate and sinking into the tragedy that his life has become. Spinning the chamber is typical of a game of Russian roulette. If the chamber is now dry, then you've used up every single cylinder. Every attempt he's made to end his existence has failed, and he ran out of ways of doing it now. He's stuck in his life, which is a deal that he has made with the devil. This leads us into one final double chorus, where he really emphasises the impact that the drugs are having on him. Just in case there was any doubt at all, he seriously hammers it home by repeating the lines, pull the plug, but I'd like to learn your name, and holding on, but I hope you do the same, oh sugar. This addiction is truly crippling him on his journey, but we are nowhere near done yet. Right in the middle of this album, we're given a very simple interlude, which is not any kind of crazy development, but still worth mentioning. Saints protect her now, come angels of the Lord, come angels of the unknown. The man is praying for the safety of his lover while they're separated. The part worth mentioning for me is the angels of unknown, as he is not only looking to the known entities in religion, but also to those not, a clear sign of desperation. After the brief interlude, the energy kicks back into gear right away, as a fiery electric guitar introduces us to our next track. Thank you for the Venom. Sister, I'm not much a poet, but a criminal, and you never had a chance. The opening line is a direct reference to the song Sister, I'm Not Much a Poet by Morrissey. The man is talking to a nun who's attempting to convert him, telling her of the reality of his situation. Love it or leave it, you can't understand. Pretty face, but you do, so carry on and on and on. The man tells the nun that she won't understand his way of life, so don't bother trying. The nun is pretty adamant and continues trying to convert him, but the man is for absolutely none of it. I wouldn't front the scene if you paid me. I'm just the way the doctor made me. On and on and on. The man doesn't want to be known as the man who killed 1,000 people. He just wants to be reunited with his lover at the end of it all. He doesn't even want to be this way, but the doctor mentioned in the lyrics is actually the devil. He's just the way the devil made him. Love is the red, the rose on your coffin door. What's life like being on the floor? The floor, the floor. Red is of course the colour blood, as well as roses. Love and death. At a funeral, it's typical to drop a rose on top of the coffin once it has been lowered into the grave. The man is looking down at a man who's bleeding out on the ground and asking him how he feels. Red is also a prominent theme on this album in both the iconic 3 Cheers shirt and tie and the album artwork of our Demolition Lovers. This leads us into the first rendition of the pre-chorus for this song. You'll never make me leave. I'll wear this on my sleeve. Give me a reason to believe. The man is still having a crisis over the lack of meaning and purpose that he's feeling in his life. He obviously has his deal with the devil, however, just going around killing people can't be a fulfilling existence. He isn't going to stop as he loves the woman that much, and he will never hide that, but he also won't hide the lack of hope he has in his situation. Now, onto our chorus, which is one of the most iconic on the album, out with the huge singles. So give me all your poison, and give me all your pills, and give me all your hopeless hearts and make them ill. You're running after something that you'll never kill. If this is what you want, then fire at will. The man is screaming out to the world to hit them with everything it's got, because none of them are going to solve his problems. He's almost willing the solutions to try, but the man knows fine well nothing will fill the void that he feels inside. This takes us back into another ridiculously punchy verse, where we continue understanding just how the man is feeling. Preach all you want, but who's gonna save me? I kept a gun on the book that he gave me. Hallelujah, lock and load. The man is back talking to some kind of preacher once again, but they don't have the answers he needs. He believes in it so little that he just chucked the Bible he was given in the drawer with the gun he uses for his killings on top, since he actually uses it. Black is the kiss, the touch of a serpent's son. It ain't the mark or the scar that makes you one, and one, and one, and one. If life wasn't able to beat you into changing the person you are, the devil will certainly find a way to do so. And that is exactly what the man has found out in his journey so far. The black represents a bruise which life gives you, which is part of the journey but not the tipping point where you change as a person. This leads us back into the pre-chorus and chorus once again, which are identical. For now. We are then treated to another incredible instrumental from My Chemical Romance, which once again maintains the energy of the song whilst leaving a moment to breathe and gather your thoughts on everything. We re-enter lyrically with the pre-chorus once again, but this time it's a bit different. You'll never make me leave. I wear this on my sleeve. You wanna follow something? Give me a better cause to lead. Just give me what I need. Give me a reason to believe. This has the previous 3 lines, but gives us a little more flavour inside it. The man is telling the preacher that if they want something to follow, he would be happy to lead a cause that would actually help him, rather than him following an organised religion that does nothing for him. We then go into one final chorus to see us out, which repeats lyrically twice as we reach our grand finale. This song is a perfect summary of how hopeless this man feels. He's not even willing to properly hear people out, as he just feels it's pointless. As we enter the final third of the album, we have Hang 'Em High. This song is a reference to the 1968 classic film by the same name, starring none other than Clint Eastwood. We enter this track on a fast western style instrumental, with the classic MCR drums keeping us on pace with the rest of the album. This intro is followed up with the first lyrics of the song, wait until it fades to black, ride into the sunset. Just like the instrumentals felt like an introduction to an old western, our opening lyrics match that perfectly. This feels like the classic western movie ending, where the hero rides off into the sunset before it fades to black. However, instead of being at the end of the track, it's at the beginning. An interesting choice. Let's carry on and see if we can make any sense of why. Would I lie to you? Well, I've got something to say. Grab your 6-gun from your back, throttle the ignition. Would I die for you? In a typical western movie, the cowboy would have a 6-chamber revolver, making these lyrics match the theme once again. The link to our story in this song is a bit more nuanced, but to me, the man has found a companion who is helping him on his mission at the moment. As more of a getaway driver than anything else, he was considering at this point whether he was willing to die for this companion, since they're nothing more than an assistant on his journey. Well, here's your answer in spades. Shotgun sinners, wild-eyed jokers, got you in my sights. Gun it while I'm holding on. The spades are very literal here, as if he's willing to die for this person, then they may need a spade to bury him. The man is providing his companion with the shovel as a symbol of commitment that he is indeed willing to die for this companion. The shotgun sinners in his sights are his targets, specifically focusing on more evil people who are guaranteed to go to hell, since that's what he needs for his deal with the devil. Afterwards, he instructs his companion to get his foot to the floor and escape the scene. Instead of having the typical song structure of either a pre-chorus or a chorus after the first verse, we dive straight into the second verse instead. After all is said and done, climb out from the pine box. Well, I'm asking you, cause she's got nothing else to say. The pine box is of course a coffin, which is another staple of western movies. The man is looking to when he finally completes his side of the deal with the devil, as he is reunited with his lover. He's asking his companion how he thinks she will react, as he believes she will be speechless. Angels just cut her tongue, call her Black Mariah. Would I lie to you? That girl's not right in the brain. The man's companion also believes that she will be shocked for words. Black Mariah is a slang term for a prison transport van, so the reference to how silent and awkward the prison transport vans must be. The devil is speaking to the man and asking if he would lie to him, which of course he would, but in what way is the real question. Mass convulsions strike the choir by the grace of God. Gun it while I'm holding on. The audience who witness his next killing are shocked to the core, in disbelief as to what they have just witnessed. Once again, the man is asking his companion to put the pedal to the metal and get them out of the area. This leads us into the chorus of the song, where we learn more about the man and his current companion's relationship. But don't stop if I fall, and don't look back. Oh baby, don't stop. Bury me and fade to black. The man is talking to his companion and telling him to continue on without him and not look back should he die. He tells his companion to bury his body and then push on and continue the mission. The fade to black coming in again here with the classic western tropes, but I think it's more clear to see why now. The song is almost treating each individual killing as a western movie of its own. As they ride off from the scene of the crime, it fades to black. After this brief chorus, we are treated to a rip-roaring guitar solo before we're taken into a very interesting bridge section, as we see the same 4 lines repeated 3 times. She won't stop me, put it down. She won't stop me, put it down. She won't stop me, put it down. So get your gun and meet me by the door. The man has encountered a standoff. Somebody is trying to stop the man from a killing. He's telling his companion that she isn't going to stop him, before turning to the woman and telling her to put down her weapon. He's telling his companion not to worry, grab his weapon, meet him by the door and get ready to flee once again. It seems as though these lines are about to repeat a 4th time, however, there's a little twist at the end. She won't stop me, put it down. She won't stop me, put it down. She won't stop me, put it down. So baby, I know, a huge change that will take forever to cover. I do think it's interesting that the final line is cut and swapped out, especially given it was the only different line out of the repeated bank of 4 that we got. To me, The man has killed the person he needed to in the standoff, and the companion listens to them and they take off once again. After this dramatic bridge, the Soul Baby we just heard transitions into the chorus one final time, but it repeats twice to round off our lyrics. After the lyrics end, we do get treated to an incredibly chaotic outro, where we hear "Don't stop, well don't stop, don't stop," getting screamed out, which makes it sound like they are being chased by the police after that last kill. All in all, a chaotic western style ride along with the man as he continues his journey, just what the doctor ordered. Following on from our trip to the wild, wild west, we have another long title which was so prevalent at the time, with "It's not a fashion statement, it's a death wish." MCR welcome us into this track on a single electric guitar, which is still quite far back in the mix, and shortly after, the guitar comes to the front of the mix and we get our intro to this track lyrically. "For what you did to me, or what I'll do to you, you'll get what everyone else gets. You'll get a lifetime." Given this man's mission is to kill 1,000 evil men, he's telling those men that their actions have led them to this consequence. The next sentence here is a reference to the 1994 comic The Sandman, where Death tells Bernie the exact same thing. Since the man is killing people, they're paying for their crimes and wrongdoings with their lives, which could be seen as a life sentence. This fired up introduction is followed up by a characteristically fast instrumental from the band. Before we get into the first verse of this track, "Do you remember that day when we met? You told me this gets harder. Well, it did. Been holding on forever. Promise me that when I'm gone, you'll kill my enemies." The man is having a one-way conversation with his lover at the moment, since she isn't physically there. He seems to have regular conversations with her looking for comfort. His deal with the devil is taking longer than he thought it would, and he's doing everything he can to hold on to hope of being reunited with his lover at the end of it all. He's asking the woman if she will kill any of his remaining enemies once his time up, which I see as being enemies both physical and mental. The man doesn't want his lover to suffer the same demons that he did, so he wants her to conquer her mental demons and to rid the earth of the rest of his physical enemies. This takes us to the chorus, where we do have a trigger warning for self-harm in here, so skip ahead 30 seconds or so if that would trigger you. "The damage you've inflicted, temporary wounds. I'm coming back from the dead and I'll take you home with me. I'm taking back the life you stole." The temporary wounds we see here are those of hurting himself, as he struggles with missing his lover and the loss of self that's occurred across this journey too. Despite these struggles, he is still determined to complete his mission and be reunited with his lover in the overworld, and in the process he will become the man he used to be all over again. We never got that far. This helps me to think all through the night. Although he struggles at night with missing his lover, the man reminds himself that although their connection was deep, it was still young. The man wants to spend a lot more time with his lover, and is hoping and praying that this deal with the devil is his ticket to that. "Bright lights won't kill me now or tell me how. Just you and I, your starless eyes remain." The bright lights are those of the police cars chasing him down, but he's not going to allow them to stop him. All he can think about is his lover. He doesn't care for any of the other lives he ruins along the way. Starless eyes means there are no tears in them. He just doesn't care anymore. The man is locked in on his mission and his mission only. After that pre-chorus, we go right into our second verse. "Hip hip hooray for me, you talk to me, but would you kill me in my sleep? Lay still like the dead." The opening lines of this is a direct call to the title of this album, as he quite literally cheers. His relationship with his companion is still there, but he worries if it's just surface level and if they would betray him in an instant. Another quick trigger warning for hurting himself here as we continue into this verse. "From the razor to the rosary, we could lose ourselves and paint these walls in pitchfork red." In these lines, the rosary represents religion and the razor his self-harm habits. When you put it all together, this line is saying he's become so obsessed with cutting himself, it's like a religion to him, a really dark reality. The man is straying further and further from his true self on his journey, as he kills more and more and paints the walls red in blood. The use of pitchfork to describe the red brings it back around to the devil once again. This transitions us back to the chorus, which is similar but not identical to the previous chorus. "I will avenge my ghost with every breath I take. I'm coming back from the dead and I'll take you home with me. I'm taking back the life you stole." The man is doing everything he can to avenge the man he used to be by fulfilling his mission and getting back to that person as soon as he physically can. The rest of the chorus is the same as before and still carries the same meaning. "This hole you put me in wasn't deep enough. and I'm climbing out right now. You're running out of places to hide from me. The man is almost taunting the devil, telling him that he never buried him deep enough, and he's making his way back right now with this deal from the devil. As we head into the outro for this song, there's one final trigger warning for hurting yourself once again. Skip on to the next track if that's not for you. When you go, just know that I will remember you. If living was the hardest part, we'll then one day be together. The opening line here is an interesting one, as it almost feels like a direct address related to hurting yourself stuff again. He's telling people that if that is how they meet their end, they will be remembered. The man knows more than anything life can be hard, but has faith that one day he will be reunited with his lover, and in the end will fall apart, just like leaves changing colour. And then I will be with you. I will be with you. I will be there one last time there. The man understands that death is inevitable, so he just wants to share those precious final moments with the person he loves. When you go, just know that I will remember you. I've lost my fear of falling. I will be with you. I will be with you. The man will remember his lover no matter what. He doesn't even fear death anymore. All the man wants is to be with his lover. And the final line of this track just emphasises it further. Here we have the penultimate track of this album and our story, Cemetery Drive, which we enter on a marching snare drum, which is joined with the opening lyrics soon after. This night, walk the dead in a solitary style and crash the cemetery gates in the dress your husband hates. The man's lover has died, and he's picturing her ghost walking through the cemetery. Cemetery gates are notorious for being loud, so crashing them would be seriously loud and drawing a lot of attention. The man loved the woman so much that he wouldn't hate anything that she wore except for the dress that she was buried in, because of the memories that come with that. Trigger warning here for the rest of this track, as there are themes of self-harm and unaliving yourself. Way down, mark the grave, where the searchlight find us drinking by the mausoleum door, and they found you on the bathroom floor. Marking the grave here is simply to symbolise that we're at the funeral of his lover. The man is refusing to believe his lover is really gone, drinking by the mausoleum where she is buried for so long that people are worried and they have to go searching for him. This final line is what ties the last song into the story fully. The woman has killed herself, and she was found dead on the bathroom floor. The person he was talking to in the outro of the last song was his lover. He won't forget her. He will live on in her memory and will be reunited with her in death. That he is certain. This leads us into the chorus, which is a short and sweet one. I miss you so far, and the collision of your kiss that made it so hard. The man misses his lover terribly, to the point he can't even express it properly, saying so far instead of so bad. The man is reminiscing on her kiss, the one which used to make him feel warm and loved, now brings the pain of missing her, and knowing he will never feel that kiss again. This song gives us a much more simple structure as we dive back into another verse. Back home off the run, singing songs that made you slit your wrists. It isn't that much fun staring down a loaded gun. The man has ran away from home because of this death, hence why people were worried and there was a search party in the first verse. The rest of these lines are methods of either self-harm or self-unaliving, all linking back to how his lover died. So I won't stop dying, won't stop lying. If you want, I'll keep on crying. Did you get what you deserve? Is this what you always want me for? The man had realised that he is destined to die and wonders if he was lying to himself and thinking he had any chance of being reunited with his lover. The man turns his attention to the devil, asking if this is what he wants, to see the man crying in additional pain of thinking he had any chance of seeing her again. In between these lines, the man questions if his lover deserved her death, just like all of the people he's killed on his journey. This takes us back into another chorus which is exactly the same as the last one. He just misses the woman so much. After this chorus, we get a little post-chorus repeating way down 8 times. This is symbolism of the coffin being lowered into the grave, slowly and gently laying her to rest. We then dive into another chorus, but it is extended this time. It begins the same with I miss you. I miss you so far, and the collision of your kiss that made it so hard. This is followed up with a similar repetition, but with a very slight difference. When will I miss you? When will I miss you so far? And the collision of your kiss that made it so hard. Made it so hard. He's asking the question of how long he's going to miss her for, and repeating just how hard he is finding it to cope with this loss. This takes us into the outro, which is the same as the pre-chorus, but this time way down and repeated 9 times instead of 8, as the coffin is fully lowered and both the funeral and this song come to an end. We have arrived at the final track of this album, and the grand finale of this story, with I Never Told You What I Do for a Living. Another fast-paced thriller sees us out as the lyrics begin. Stay out of the light or the photograph I gave you. You can say a prayer if you need to, or just get in line and I'll grieve you. Can I meet you alone? The man is talking to his lover. He wants her body to remain safe before he hopes to resurrect her after completing his quest. He wants to know whether he has to just get in line like everyone else, or if he can get some alone time to grieve with her body, ensuring it is safe. Another night and I'll see you. Another night and I'll be you. Some other way to continue to hide my face. The man is close to completing his side of the deal he's made with the devil, and believes he's just one night away from being reunited with his lover. The man has continuously taken on the identities of the people he's killed in order to gain access to resources and stay on the run from the authorities. This leads us into a pre-chorus where we see once again what the man thinks of himself. Another knife in my hands, a stain that never comes off the sheets. Clean me off, I'm so dirty, babe. The kind of dirty where the water never cleans off the clothes. The stains are representative of the guilt he feels for what he has done, and that he will never be able to shake. He feels dirty for what he has done, but the only person he feels knows the real him and the true intentions behind what he has done is his lover. This takes us to our chorus, which I've added the final line of the pre-chorus to, as I believe it fits much better this way. I keep a book of the names and those only go so far, till you bury them. So deep and down we go. The list of names he has for evil men he has to kill is entirely irrelevant until all 1,000 of them are dead and in hell, as only then will he get what he wants. Back into our second verse now, as we get a deeper look into the man's mindset once again. Touched by angels, though I fall out of grace. I did it all, so maybe I'd live this every day. The man is stating that he wasn't always a terrible person, but he had his fall from grace and has struggled with that ever since. He has always known his motive, but is only now towards the end of his journey realising the weight of what he has done will weigh heavy on him forever. This takes us back into the pre-chorus, which starts off the same as last time, but has a little switch up at the end. Another knife in my hands, a stain that never comes off the sheets. Clean me off, I'm so dirty, babe. It ain't the money and it sure as hell ain't for the fame. It's for the body I claim and those. The two opening lines stay the same and carry the same meaning as before, but this final line brings more justification from the man. He's stating that he isn't killing for wealth or notoriety, but out of a desperate desire to be reunited with his lover. He's doing it to cross one more name off that list and get one step closer to his true love. This takes us into another chorus identical to the last one in both lyrics and meaning. After the chorus we get a brief interlude before the next verse, where our story takes its wicked twist. And down we go, and down we go, and down we go, and we all fall down. The devil has gone back on his word, as the final evil man that our man has to kill is himself. The man lets out his frustration in what's the heaviest moment of this album, as he screams out in anguish, I tried, I tried. This is backed with heavy instrumentals to give the real feeling of hurt that the man is experiencing. This takes us back into a verse once again, as the man has to process the information he's just learned. And we'll all dance along to the tune of your death. We'll love again, we'll laugh again, and it's better off this way. The man is choosing to celebrate the final few kills he has, hoping and praying that he still gets reunited with her, just in hell, which is where the man is destined to go. The man is even tricking himself into believing it's better off this way, since they can be together eternally in hell if they meet there again. The music slows right down, and the song almost feels peaceful for a moment. Well, never again and ever again. They gave us 2 shots to the back of the head and we're all dead now. The first part of this could have a few interpretations. Firstly, the man could never get to walk Earth once again, as once he is done, he will be in hell. There's also a chance that he will never see his lover again. And finally, it could be that he will never kill again once he's done with his journey here. It could even be all of the above. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. These lines are repeated once again, but this time, the music is beginning to build back up again and take us into the bridge. I tried, one more night, one more night. Well, I'm laughing out, crying out, laugh out loud. The scream of I tried really makes you feel for the man. He's begging for one final night with his lover, assuming that he will not get the chance to be reunited with her in hell. He's pleading desperately with the devil for anything. I tried, well I tried, well I tried, cause I tried, but I lied, I lied. I tried, I tried, I tried. Well, the man is hell, desperately pleading and realising that he should never have made the deal with the devil. This takes us into the final lines of the song, where we have the acceptance, one final time. And never again, they gave us 2 shots to the back of the head, and we're all dead. Now, that's it. The man's fate is sealed. He will not be reunited with his lover. There is no happy ending. The man will join all those evil men that he killed in hell. His love story is over. And that is 3 cheers for sweet revenge. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and be sure to check out my video breaking down the lore in My Chemical Romance's latest tour. Thank you so much for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.